And Shinagogo, baby, what's good, guys? Yoku here. And yesterday we went over Kafka, and I gave you guys all the reasons why you should or should not consider pulling for Kafka. And that was barely that video was all right. It wasn't too long. But today I'm gonna go over Blade, and like I said, I had a lot more to say about Blade than I did Kafka, and maybe that'll change after release of both of these characters. But as of right now, I really want to go over why I'm so enamored with Blade as a character, why I think he's going to really shake up a lot of people. I saw a lot of comments yesterday in the video saying that they had no faith in Blade. They were not worried about Blade at all. Complete skip, easy skip. He was a 5-star Don Hung, blah, 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 blah. And to be fair, that's the same thing you guys said about Serval and Jing Yuan. And now everyone and their mom is a Jing Yuan defender. Before we do that, and I normally don't do this, if, however, you are enjoying my videos, if you could help your boy by subscribing, liking the video, commenting, whatever the case may be. Mostly the subscription, we're trying to push past this little 10K hurdle right here. So if I can get to like 11 or 12K, that'd be awesome. Regardless, let's jump into this video. Now, I know I said that I was going to keep Kafka short, or the shorter end of the stick, and I think I rambled a lot about Kafka. I didn't realize I wanted to talk so much about her because I really want you guys to understand that this decision it's not a one and done, right? I think with Zila and Jing Yuan, it was much easier for me or anyone to recommend, hey, pull Zila. If you want damage, pull Zila. If you want this, pull Zila. If you want to future-proof your entire account, pull Zila. If you want to maximize your supports, you want to maximize your current DPSs on the account, pull Silverwolf over Locha, because Silverwolf is going to make your DPSs always relevant. She will always make something weak to your main DPS so that you don't have to keep reinvesting into new DPS characters. It was much easier to recommend stuff like that. Right now, based off the concepts of these characters alone, it's super hard for any one person to tell you Blade or Kafka, and it's definitive, right? Because Kafka, again, DOT, Blade is a whole different character. I compare him to Hu Tao a lot. It's not super accurate from what I saw on the live stream, and maybe just from some of the things that I've seen in like CBT2 beta, but it's a good base. Blade is a win character that falls under the destruction path. We've talked about destruction before, but for those that aren't familiar with it, destruction characters usually sacrifice something in order to gain something else. Whether that be HP, skill point usage, or teammates HP, whatever. They sacrifice something that is valuable to themselves or the party to buff themselves or to do whatever. In Blade's case, he's going to sacrifice his own HP like a vampire or whatever, a vampiric state, and then he's going to enter Hellscape. That's his skill. Hellscape turns his basic attack into Forest of the Swords, which has different properties like enhanced damage and AoE targeting. He's also got a talent, which is called Shuhu's Gift, or Chuyu's Gift, I believe might be how you pronounce it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's got stacks. So these stacks are going to charge each time he loses HP. Doesn't matter how he loses it. He can take it from himself. A teammate could take it somehow. I don't know how that would work, but whatever. And then an enemy can take it by hitting him. And for however many times he does this, he can stack up to 5 times. If Blade gets hit 4 or 5 times in one single attack simulation, well, he just gets a talent per turn in that event. And it's possible to do that, but again, you need some other stuff, right? Destructions have the second highest aggro unit in the game, or aggro value in the game, so it's not impossible for him to be the sole single target, but that's a whole different thing that I'll talk about during my Blade guide. Now, his ultimate Death Sentence has a unique function that should be paid attention to a lot, and I'm not sure a lot of you have actually looked at this to understand it. It hits single targets, it has adjacent enemies. I just smell my armpits and I think I need my deodorant. His HP That's crazy how I'm just going to continue, right? Like we just didn't hear what I just said. It's cool. His HP is automatically going to set to 50%. This is the important part because it means round start, you can basically, boom, bring Blade down to 50% HP loss for a big boost in the ultimate, because the ultimate, the way that works is it's going to consume whatever his HP is and then dish it out as damage. How it does that, we'll figure that out later. But as of right now, that's the basis of how this works. He uses ultimate and cuts it in half by 50%, or it just takes him to 50%. This can be used as a heal. So again, similar to Hu Tao, her ultimate only heals her by whatever percent, it boosts her up by that percent. In Blade's case, his ultimate works as he can heal himself if he's too low, or he can take himself down if he's too high and he needs a little bit more damage coming out of whatever he's doing. This plus his talent stock, because this also adds into his talent stock, right? Taking damage. If you take the damage, you give yourself a stock for free. That's 2 stocks right there. You do his attack, that's 1 because you're sacrificing HP, and then you do his ultimate, that's another, you're taking away damage. you just gave yourself 2 free stocks in one single turn. If the enemy hits you and if you use Bronya, well, you just get it again, and now you get a whole talent action in a single turn. There's a bunch of other stuff that you could do with Blade, but it's, you know, it's whatever. It's regardless of that. If there's some type of diminishing value or a cap or anything like that, now we look into, can this be achieved before every ultimate? What are the turn rotations, or what are going to be the turn cycles? How do we achieve these things? These are the type of things that you guys should be looking at when it comes to Blade. What possible sets, things like that. And speaking of sets, 1.2's Disciple Relic set was practically made for him. That thing is perfect. It's gonna give crit rate % on the 4P set. If I'm to take the base value of what we have right now, Inert Salcedo gives you plus 8%. I think the new Runic or whatever the other new planetary ornament set is going to be also gives you an 8% crit rate increase. If I'm taking that, those are 2P sets. 4 pieces typically have a better thing or a better function than a 2-piece. It's safe for me to double this at the minimum. 16% from a 4-piece Disciple set, giving you that crit rate. His signature light cone or any light cone is going to be able to give you some form of crit rate. Usually, right, their signatures boost them in some type of manner. If you use, I think it's Under the Blue Sky. Under the Blue Sky has 12% crit rate if you knock out an enemy. It's 24% if you S5 it. So that's a free 12 to 24% crit rate right there. The Disciple set gives you the 16% or something like that. Inert Salcedo gives you 8%. He has a natural 5%. You don't need a crit body piece at this point. That's huge to think about on a character like Blade, who consumes his own HP, has a never-ending you can't kill me function, naturally bulky because of the HP you're putting into him to increase his attack. And now all I have to do is worry about crit damage for a bunch of substats. That's where you're out of your mind if you don't think this character is going to dish out an insane amount of damage. So now we get into the big question. What kind of players would want Blade? I have a list, so bear with me. Number 1, those who are looking for a self-sustaining DPS character. You have Locha, right? I know we say that Locha is the proclaimed best partner for Blade. He's gonna heal him, he's gonna keep him alive. He'll never die as long as Locha's alive and he has a partner. Blade is a character that can dish out a ton of damage and keep himself alive at the same time by himself. Locha's nice, but on paper, Blade doesn't actually need Locha. It's not a necessity. As I mentioned earlier, because his kit is primarily based on his own HP, he should naturally be a lot bulkier than the other DPS characters in the game, which means he can take multiple hits on his own, at least up to the point where he can get his ultimate. Boom. Hey, I'm too low. I'm at 14% HP for whatever reason. I'm going to pop an ult. Now I'm back at 50% and I can start to recover my HP however I want to do. His talent also recovers HP when he slings it out. The dude is a vampire. Next, you want Bronya, right? So those that have had Bronya, you, what do you call that thing? You do the thing at the beginning of the game, reroll. You guys tell Moon thank you in the comments. Say thank you, Moon. You re-roll, right? Those of you that re-rolled for Bronya, in my opinion, until I fully test Blade, is by far his best support. Looking at every character in the game, Bronya is easily the best support in the game for him. If you have Bronya, this is one of those scenarios where, like, just like I said with Silverwolf, if you had Azila, Silverwolf is easily the best partner for her. Easily. I don't know what's going on with Double Brownie right now, Double Bronyas. Okay, Double Brownie in the game is fire. If you got both Bronyas on your account, you are golden. You're set, bro. Bronya is going to give him just enough of an attack % increase that he'd care about. She also focuses on damage % and giving him crit damage from her ultimate. Blade is going to eat that up. We all know every DPS, any DPS loves Bronya boost. Not only that, but she's going to boost him forward in the action cycle, which is going to encourage him getting a minimum of 2 talent stacks, like I mentioned earlier. So now you take what I told you, that was the first 2 from the talent or the skill. You do that in 1 turn. So skill, basic attack, ult, that's 3 talents right there. And then Bronya comes back. That's another talent. You get hit. You just got the whole 5 stacks in 1 turn, probably OTK'd the entire MOC. Whatever the case may be. She also creates a very smooth cycle when it comes to using Blade plus Bronya. She's you can run an SP negative Bronya and force her to be SP neutral because Blade is going to be SP positive. Lastly, Planetary Rendezvous. If you don't have Bronya's Sig Light Cone, which if you guys have listened to me about the whole Light Cone thing, you should. But if you don't, Planetary Rendezvous, something that you guys should have gotten in the previous Light Cone banner, would be great for Bronya to have with Blade because it's going to take the same element and double the damage. I think it's like a 24% damage increase or something like that if you have the same element type as the wearer. So that's gonna boost Blade significantly just for Bronya being on the team alone. We don't have another wind support. Sampo, like Sampo's not Harmony, you can't use it. There's not another support in the game that's gonna give Blade a free damage percent increase just by existing. Speaking of double brownie, you have Silverwolf. If you happen to also have Silverwolf, well, guess what? You have now created something where you never have to worry about another DPS character in the game again, right? Like nothing is weak to you anymore because Silverwolf forces the enemy to always be weak to Blade. She's constantly stacking bugs that benefit Blade, and she can perform her role as a sub DPS if you happen to have E2. Most of my free-to-play players will not have anywhere near this. I understand that. I'm just throwing this stuff out so everyone understands their options. Break build Silverwolf plus Blade is going to create some of the nastiest combos y'all will ever see in your life. If Blade doesn't kill something, Break build Silverwolf will explode on it and it's gonna do a ton of more damage. The only negative to having Silverwolf at this point is that she is a single target debuffer. Now you get into Pela, because Pela is the other option, right? Pela's ult, she gets her stuff very quick, bro. Pela's whole kit is built around getting my ult as fast as possible. She's gonna get her ult in sometimes as easy as 2 turns. Ult drops defenses of all the enemies on the field by 37 to 45%. Same thing with Silverwolf, right? Silverwolf's ult is 50% drop, so now it's only on single target. Pela's whole ult is gonna be on everyone. Boom. You get a damn near 50% drop on everybody. You got Bronya in the back. Bronya's buffing up Blade. Blade is buffing himself up thanks to his own kit. And now you're just dishing out a crap ton of damage. Whatever you're facing is dead. If it's weak to win, it's dead. If it resists win, it's taking minimum 70-something% of whatever you're already dishing out in the first place. And something else that people aren't looking at with Pela, ensnared light cone. Luca's light cone, his signature 4-star light cone, right? It has an ability called ensnared. When an enemy is ensnared, they take a 12% minimum defense reduction as well. You add that on top of Pela and now boom, you're already achieving the 50 to 60-something% defense reduction that's gonna last for a couple of turns. That's plenty of time for Blade to dish out a big boy combo, a lot of damage, Bronya to boost him up with the crit damage ultimate, all kinds of stuff. Backdooring with Locha, or even if you don't have Locha because you pulled Silverwolf instead, well, you still have the ability to remove enemy buffs. You now still have the ability to remove enemy buffs without having to depend on Locha, or you can double down with Locha. Your negatives to Pela, anti-synergetic, and yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the term, anti-synergetic with Blade because of the freeze. Pela freezing enemies means that the enemies are not hitting Blade, which means you're not getting your talent as fast as possible, or you're not getting hit as much as you want to lose your HP in order to buff up whatever your ultimate damage is going to be, or your skill damage, or whatever the case may be. Pela also does not function as a sub DPS, which means you are now solely depending on Blade for all of your damage output because you're trying to fit in another DPS character somewhere in there. Maybe you could get away with it, but you know, because Pela is going to be dropping the defenses of everybody across the board by herself, maybe you could fit somebody else in there, Sushong for single target damage, or an Arlen for more destruction stuff. I probably wouldn't do that because now you're SP negative in a way, but whatever. Point being is that you guys get where I'm going. To wrap everything up, because I know that was a doozy of a video, guys. I don't know why I gave y'all like a 20 to 30 minute video. I don't even know how to talk for that long, but that's crazy. I'm sick. Point being is that I had to get everything out so you guys understood why these two characters were so critical to right now. 1.2 is bringing a lot to the game itself. We're getting the new Disciple Relic set, as well as the whatever the R word planar ornament set is. We're getting that as well. And you would think, oh yeah, having to boost up your crit rate by a certain percent is going to be a lot. We don't know what that number is just yet. It could be 50, it could be 60, it could be 70, it could even be 90. I hope it's not 90, god damn. But point being is that it's a new set, it's entering, it's going to increase basic attack and skill damage. That's something that, for instance, Zila would love, right? Now you have the option between skill and ultimate to increase your damage, and you're still getting the crit rate increase from either planar ornament. Kafka's case with the new effect hit rate drop or effect hit resistance drop from 1.1, it's going to benefit Kafka because now I can just apply shock whenever I want to. You can't resist it. And she's going to be able to proc all these DOTs. This decision for any player solely comes down to what type of character, what type of play style you want to play with. If you want to play with Blade and you want to just attack, press the W key, spam forward, no thought, right? You just do what you want, boost him up. You never have to worry about him dying. Then you pull Blade. He's a sick character. I love this character. He's super cool looking. awesome animations from what we've seen so far, but I also love Kafka, Mommy Dami Kafka, right? But I personally like team comps like that. I like Poison in Pokemon, where I can use toxic spikes and I can watch her health tick away little by little. I like burning my enemies. I like freezing. I like statuses. So Kafka is right up my alley. I like both characters, so I'm going to get both characters. If you can't make a decision between both, honestly, I would just say pick who you have the most benefit to building into right now. Look at your team and say, hey, you know what? I do have Bronya. I also have Silverwolf. Maybe the best thing for me to do would be to go for Blade, right? I have Locha, I have Silverwolf, and I have Bronya. Putting Blade on that team would be perfect. I now have one whole team. It's perfect. If I don't have Silverwolf and I have Pela and she's invested, I'm getting an E6 Pela or E4, whatever, I can now do that. I can now build that team. But at the same time, it's like, hey man, I've been working on my hook. I have Himiko. That's the one that I got in my account. My Himiko is level 80 now. I got a lot invested into her. Her crit damage is like 200%. She's crit rate is like 48%. I think she could work with Kafka. Boom, Himiko plus Kafka. Again, Pela is right there. I got Pela, but maybe you got Silverwolf. Cool, I got Silverwolf too. And now you have the whole team. Just look at the account, guys. All of this stuff is not as difficult as anybody would make it. I'm done running my mouth and rambling because I got to edit this video and then go to sleep and then do it again in the morning. Thank y'all for listening to me. I hope everything came across in a concise manner. If it didn't, my bad. Blame Moon. I'm not taking the fault for this because your boy don't feel too hot. Regardless, like the video, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I can't say my usual outro because it's inappropriate for YouTube. Join the Discord, subscribe to the channel, become a member if you want to help support the boy financially, because that'd be pretty cool. Follow me on Twitch. I'm trying to hit partner, and I will stream for the 1.2 stuff, probably my pools and then playing the game, learning the character, all that kind of crap. Smell you later.